provide you with some education on the candidates. We're going to lower down the volume. My name is Melissa Zamora, and I'm District 3 Commissioner for the City of Brownsville. Joining me today are additional moderators, Kiko Rendon, trustee for Texas Alamos College. And of course, we have the famous or infamous, depending on how you feel, depending on the issue or the subject matter of the day. We have Erasmo Castro, founder of Brownsville Cheezmeh. There are many individuals and organizations who submitted suggested questions for today's forum and tomorrow's scheduled forum. Don't forget about that one. We're very grateful for everyone's participation. It is through our many partnerships that we can have a far greater reach when it comes to civic engagement. And it is through our partnerships that we can not only extend one helpful hand, but many, and demonstrate to our peers, our colleagues, our friends and family that we must sometimes help each other to help ourselves. Our city will be strengthened if people feel empowered and take ownership of our community's problems, develop their ideas for resolving problems, and get involved in making sure that the issues are addressed with their community leaders. You're never too young or too old to take part in the political process. And of course, there's never a dull moment when it comes to local politics. Always very interesting, keeps us entertained. With that being said, I'm going to introduce our first round of candidates. They're all Justice of the Peace candidates, some of them incumbents. Joining us today are, for Justice of the Peace, Precinct 2, Place 1, we have incumbent Linda Salazar. Marlene Doherty is joining us here. For Justice of the Peace, Precinct 2, Place 1? Place 2, excuse me, I get confused, but I do know all of you. We don't have an incumbent. The position was previously held by Judge Tony Torres. So I want to take just a moment of silence to recognize his civic service. Thank you. Joining us today are Refugio Cookie Covarrubias. We also have Aaron H. Garcia. And last but not least, we have Israel Tapia. We're going to start with our introductions. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to provide a brief introduction, and we will start with Linda Salazar.
Thank you. Man, 2 minutes is nothing, but I'm going to try and wrap it up. My name is Linda Salazar, born and raised here in Brownsville. I went to UTB, TSC here in Brownsville also. I'm a mother, and I'm a grandmother of 10 grandkids. And believe it or not, I'm very young. Let that happen. My experience is being as a Justice of the Peace. This will be my 3rd term. I love what I do. I love to serve the people of Brownsville, because I'm from Brownsville. And the people court is a court for you all. And it will only be open for you all. Because that bench, when I sit there, it's you that are there with me. And when I make a decision, it's because I have to make the right decision within the law. Sometimes People are not in agreement on things that I do, but that's the way it is. I have to follow the law. I will never bind the law because it's not right. And the only thing I ask right now is that you all support me. Thank you. That you support me again. I will be there in the campaign trail. I will be there serving you all. And I want to thank all of you for inviting me tonight. And I'll tell you one thing, you guys are not going to regret it when you all vote again for Just Salazar. Thank you.
Next, we'll have Marlene Doherty. We'll pass the mic on to you.
Hi, Marlene Doherty. I'm incredibly nervous. I'm a lawyer, a retired police officer, and still I'm standing here nervous. My voice is probably shaking before you. I have a daughter who's 34 years old and a 9-month-old granddaughter whom I love dearly. Unfortunately, she lives in Michigan. I'm here alone, and I've devoted the last 8.5 years to the people of Brownsville in my practice as an immigration lawyer. The people of Brownsville are diverse. You have people who live here, grew up here. You have winter Texans. You have undocumented aliens, and many people who are legal permanent residents who come up against the law, and I help them out. The undocumented are those who really need a hand, and I have done my best to serve them, and will continue to serve if elected the people of Brownsville, which includes that of our group. Thank you.
Our next introduction will be from Cookie Columbus.
First of all, let me thank the Cheezmeh organization for the invitation. I think you all have done a great job. I am a retired customs agent. Presently, I work for the district attorney's office as a juvenile investigator. But I'm running for justice of the peace because I have those life experiences that has given me the skills and the tools to be fair and to be just. But more importantly, to be for the people, because I am for the people. I enjoy helping the community. I enjoy working for the community. Presently, I see through our juvenile court many kids that have taken the wrong direction. I've had parents come to me and ask me what I can do for them. And unfortunately, at the time, if they're being processed and all that, I can't do anything. But I tell them, come back when the kids are adjudicated, and I can talk to them at least. And usually when I sit down with the kids or whatever, I tell them, look at me as if I'm your grandfather. Look at me as if I'm your father. I have been blessed by the careers that I've had. I have been blessed by the family that I've had. But more importantly, I've been blessed by the community that I'm in. I enjoy helping the community. I'm presently involved with the Southmost Lions Club. I'm presently involved with the National Association of Retired Federal Employees. And also presently, I'm the chairman of the board of Valley Federal Credit Union. We are all qualified for this position. So this race is about you people. You have to choose who's the best candidate, who's the best representative that will be sitting in that seat. for you, the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next candidate to provide an introduction is Erin Garcia.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. I also would like to begin by thanking the Bringing Brownsville Change and Brownsville Cheezmeh organizations for hosting this. It allows the community to really get to know the candidates, and I think that's very important. Again, my name is Erin Garcia. I'm 31 years old, and I'm very proud to say that I was born and raised here in Brownsville, Texas. Brownsville's my home. Brownsville's what I love. I'm raising my family here. I went through the public school system here in Brownsville. Very proud to say that. I graduated from Homer Hanna High School in 1998, and I went on to attend the University of Texas at Brownsville and completed my bachelor's degree here. And I'm very proud to say that I'm born and raised and schooled here in Brownsville. I did move away to Houston for a short period of time just to complete my JD degree. I attended a public law school in Texas, Texas Southern University, and I completed that schooling in 2006 and was licensed that same year. I currently practice as a solo practitioner attorney. I have a general practice. I'm a certified mediator and parent facilitator. And I will tell you the reason I'm running for this position is because I want to turn around and give everything that I've learned and everything that I have back to the community. I'm very passionate about the law. It's what I do. I love it. I love going to work every day. Again, I've worked as an attorney, so I've worked defending people's rights. I've worked as a mediator where I take two parties that can barely stand to be in a room with each other and I get them to an agreement. And it works. And now I'm ready to turn around and put my legal training on the other side of the bench. And I'm really looking forward to that, and I humbly ask for your consideration and your support in this election. Thank you.
And our last candidate for JP joining us, providing an introduction, is Israel Davila.
Good evening, everybody. I want to thank Brownsville Cheezmeh and Bringing Brownsville Change Committee for hosting this. I started as familiar faces, friends from experience of working at the courthouse. A little bit about myself. I've been employed with Cameron County for a little bit over 7 years now. I started working at the Justice of the Peace, and I currently work for the Justice of the Peace. I began with the Honorable Oscar Dulos, the first administration I started with. I continued through Judge Tony Torres, from when he started till he departed, and I'm currently employed under Judge Kip Johnson Hodge. What I have to share with you all is, number one, I love my job, I love what I do, that's why I go to work every day. Judge Torres and Judge Dulos instilled in me a lot of things, a lot of qualities of what it takes to be a Justice of the Peace. A lot of people aren't familiar with what it takes to be a Justice of the Peace or what exactly Justice of the Peace does. Judge Salazar from offhand can tell you it's a very demanding job. You're woken up at all hours of the night, to go pronounce somebody. You're marrying people. You're a lot of different small things that JPs have to do. And I feel I'm a very qualified candidate because I've been there doing that job for over 7 years, day in and day out. I have the experience. I started as a clerk, as a court clerk, and I'm one of the court coordinators there. I want to continue to help serving the citizens of Brownsville. Like I said, I've met many of you already through my tenure there as a court clerk. I'm also a constable, deputy constable, through Precinct 1 in Cameron County. That means I'm a certified peace officer also for the state. Thank you, and I appreciate your vote.
Thank you for your very professional introductions. Of course, every forum has to have a couple of rules. Rule number 1, your response should be your response. In the event you name another candidate, that candidate will have the opportunity for a 30-second rebuttal. So be very cautious with your responses. And number 2, please continue to be professional and respectful. No yelling and screaming, and that goes for the audience. In the event you want to go beyond that, now there may be a boxing ring or 2 set up outside, but that's for another time. So I'm going to pass on the mic to Kiko to begin with our first question for our candidates.
First, I want to congratulate everybody that's here. To be civically engaged like this is extremely important. It's great that so many people are interested to be here. We're going to start, the order, we'll start with one candidate and we'll move down the line. The next, second question, we'll start with a different one. That way we're not using the same order. I'll just start on this side with Mr. Covarrubias. The question has to do with the office. The office is a very important office, and a key part of it is the budget and the management of the personnel and the court. Could you tell us what experience you have in managing budgets, as well as personnel and management experience in helping manage the court? We'll have 1 minute.
Well, first of all, I can tell you that in my entire life, I have never written a hot check. Okay? So that's my experience, and I manage my money well, or I think I do. But I think we have to be very careful, especially when you're handling government funds. You know, I worked for the United States government for over 29 years, so I know how touchy it is. And, you know, to manage your budget, you have to be very careful. You have to cross your T's and dot your I's. But more importantly, you have to be conscientious of what's being spent. Like I said, I think I'm good at numbers, so I should be good at accounting. Thank you.
From a budget perspective, I currently own and operate my own small business, and I run a very tight budget. So I understand what it's like to make ends meet every month. I also have my own law practice, same thing. Every month I have bills, every month they get paid. I know exactly what it is to have a budget. You have certain numbers, you have to work within them. I'm a very fiscally responsible individual, and I plan to utilize what I do in my law practice in my business at the county. Same concept, it's numbers.
Regarding the budget, I have been personally involved regarding the budget and the monies and managing personnel in that office. The key thing for me is transparency, that my administration, my office has transparency all the way through. From when the customer makes a payment at the window to by the time it gets to the auditor's office. There should be no reason why there shouldn't be any doubt in anybody's mind where the money is getting placed in. Regarding the office, managing the personnel, I have the blessing of working with 3 other ladies, great employees. I'm one of the second supervisors, so I get to oversee 2 of the current employees. I may not have a lot of experience managing employees because I'm a clerk myself, but whatever experience I have, I will put it to good use. Thank you.
I'm managing our office, my office, where we have 8 years doing that. Every year, budget time, we gotta be sure that I cover all the payroll for my employees, first of all. And to have enough money to cover for all our supplies, to be sure that we have enough money for even a pen. When I started office, there was no money whatsoever left on that budget. I had to go to other office to borrow pens and papers. But now, not anymore. I have an administrator, I trained her very well. And she knows, and she's here right now. She's very trained. I concentrate all my employees to be sure that they know what to do in that office, especially with monies, especially with payroll, especially with anything we need in our office to run the budget. Thank you.
I've been self-employed since 1998 from small business. entrusted with my clients' money. I manage my own account. It's a trust fund for my clients' fund. And what more can I say?
Thank you. Our second question pertains to some news stories of recent that concern the consolidation of various JP positions. It's a hot topic. It's something that individuals that work for the county have mixed reviews about. In the event that this comes before us again, and it becomes before the county, considering budget constraints, how do you feel about the consolidation of your positions? And would you be willing to relinquish your position for the benefit of the county?
If it was a budget constraint and the position had to be eliminated, it would be disappointing because I think Cameron County has a high demand and we need the JPs that we have now. But if the budget did not allow it and the position had to be consolidated, I would relinquish the position if that's what the budget says.
Currently, there is that issue going on right now with Cameron County regarding eliminating positions for JPs. Whenever there was a position that was to the benefit of the people of Cameron County and Brownsville, yes, and that was the last option, the last resort, yes, it would. On the other hand, I believe that we need more JPs here in Brownsville. Brownsville is growing at an alarming rate, year by year, and people need more options. People need closer venues to attend to take care of y'all's business. Of course, nobody likes to see any position eliminated, but sometimes it's fiscally necessary.
We had a JP away with it, and as far as doing away with more judges, we don't need that, not especially in Brownsville. And I've always said, like Doctor said, right now it's true. I was going to say the same thing. I have been asking for another JP court in Brownsville area. Rules are property agents going out to 200-something housing. And the thing is, they have the border right now, fighting the congressman's statement, the congressmen and senators, and we need another JP in Brownsville. I mean, we don't have, now, they're gonna consolidate another JP in my area, man, that's great. But to do away in the Brownsville area to another one, I don't agree with that.
I would do what the law requires. If I had to revoke the position, I would do so. But I would also fight to keep the position in the community because we do need additional JPs. The position has incorporated the small claims court now, and that makes the job more difficult, and it's really required.
Well, according to our last census, Brownsville was the one that grew the most. I strongly believe that, yes, we do need probably another position as JP. But if the budget, if we don't have the budget, and our commissioners decide that it needs to be eliminated, then I will respect that.
The next question will start with Ms. Aaron. No, I'm sorry, we'll get to Mr. Rivera. This question has to do with being able to manage the court. Have you read the Texas Code of Civil Procedure? And if so, what area concerns you the most?
JP Court consists of mostly Texas Rules of Civil Procedure. JP Court handles civil suits, small claims, forcible eviction detainers, writ of reentries. Many procedures are handled specifically by JPs only. That is a very important area of our work. Yes, I am familiar with most of what Texas Rules of Civil Procedure is. Of course, I'm not an attorney, so that does require a bit specialized training, but I am experienced with that type of work in Texas Rules of Civil Procedure, and I am very comfortable working with it, and I feel that I can make very good decisions based on my experience of working there.
Of course I am, and I do it every day. Every day I hear all those civil cases. Evictions, truancy, small claims. And you have to go, especially on those civil cases, small claims that come in. And you have to read the law in order to decide the decision of a case. If you don't read that, you're nowhere. Yeah, you're lost. Thank you.
As an immigration lawyer, my job requires that I apply the federal law, the federal immigration law, and the Texas law as it applies to immigration law. In the federal district court, I have to also apply the Texas law, as well as the federal. In that capacity, I have reviewed the Texas Code of Civil Procedure. I have not reviewed the entire code, just as it applies to the work that I do. I reviewed briefly the code to see what this position entails. And what it does bother me is that an appeal, if a person lost at the small claims court, their appeal goes to another level of court, and I think that
That's our time, Mary.
I think
Well, I strongly believe that if you're fair, if you're just in dealing civilly with our community, you know, especially if you deal in good faith as a public servant, I strongly believe that everything will come out all right. I am somewhat familiar with the civil procedure, even though I haven't practiced it. Most of my career has been in criminal law, criminal enforcement law. But I'm pretty sure that I would be very comfortable with it.
I'm very familiar with the Texas Rules of Civil Procedure. As an attorney, we use them, apply them, and practice with them every day. Every time we're in court, they apply. And it's extremely important to know the Texas Rules of Civil Procedure in the JP Court, because I do believe that a big misconception that people have is that it's a very informal court and they don't apply. Well, they do apply. They apply in most of the cases that are taken before JP Court, before the JP courts. So again, I am very familiar with the rules. I own a Texas Rules of Civil Procedure book, and I carry it with me every day. It's part of what I do.
Judge, if you just give me a minute, I'd like to ask some of our chatterboxes back there to please keep it down a little bit. Please. Or I'm going to invite you to come up here and give a 20-minute speech. Okay. My question. A common complaint or concern from individuals in the community is the availability of justices of the peace. Considering it is a salary position and availability? And how do you think the issue of availability should be resolved when it comes to not only yourself as a JP, but respective JPs, other JPs, your partners, your peers? You have to work together as a team. You work under the same county, so we would hope that you would do that. So how do you vow to be available? And how are you available now if you are in the position? If you could enlighten us on that. And the first question goes to Judge Salazar.
On that question, let me go, all the JPs, we all work together. We have to. We get calls at the middle of the night, and for some reason, my co-judge doesn't respond. I'm available to respond. Even though it's in Arlington, San Benito, which is not my precinct, I have to work with those people. If I'm out of town, I tell my next door neighbor, Judge can't come. Judge, I'm going to be out of town this week, I have training. Can you cover for me this week? And each other we help. If for some reason it did happen last week, we were both out of town together, we have to call Judge from Los Fresnos, Mendoza. We've been Betty Ochoa. And if they're not available, we have to be sure we cover somebody to help each other. And that's what we do. So that's very important. And as far as people coming to our office, let me tell you,
Thank you so much.
I think I'm at a very different perspective. As a judge, I would want to maintain independence. Certainly, I would want to work with the other justices. But it would be in coordinating our absences, not in just choosing to be absent when I wanted to be gone. I couldn't be absent unless the position was already coordinated. The position was covered in advance. In addition, I don't think that I should be speaking to individuals about cases that are before me. They should be presenting their case in court, not to me and for court.
I think first of all, I take my job very serious, okay? And as a federal agent, I was on call 24/7. I mean, I know I missed a lot of holidays. I missed a lot of birthdays and parties and all that with my family. That was my job. And I do take my job very serious, and I am available 24/7. Thank you.
I do understand that the position for JP is a full-time position and a very important position. I'm very fortunate and blessed that I have a very supportive family, particularly a very supportive husband, and we've sat down and talked about these dynamics and the responsibilities that it entails. And, you know, when I got his green light, that was a green light for the county. That allows me to be 100% committed to the county during working hours, and that means past 5, but it also means that I'm going to be committed to the county every time I'm needed. And I agree 100% with Judge Salazar that I think a coordination or just a simple courtesy, hey, next door neighbor, I'm going to be out of town, can you cover for me? It's not a checking and balancing each other's schedule, it's just a simple courtesy. And you just make sure that if you're going to be out of town, that there's somebody there to cover for you. And I'm 100% committed to this position and I'm ready to serve.
I do agree with most of the candidates here. I myself have the experience of being called at 2 o'clock in the morning by the judge to assist with a body or whatnot. Yes, a JP's job is very demanding. You're called at all hours of the night. You have to go cover for other judges. You know, it's not only professional and a common courtesy, but it's a judicial responsibility. effectively. So yes, I will be committed, and I will be a full-time JP for the people of Brownsville and Cameron County. Thank you.
Our community prides itself in the personal relationships that we have, and the judge should be available. But how would you deal with a situation when a friend or a relative comes to your office and asks for you to take care of a ticket?
Sorry.
I guess I would send them next door, so we take care of that problem right away.
That situation's gonna happen a lot. And I think there's a professional line that has to be drawn that says, yes, bring me your ticket. You're welcome to come before my court, just like anybody else, and present your evidence. And if I think you're not guilty, then you're not guilty. If I think you're guilty, you're gonna get a fine just like everybody else. Anybody who knows me, they know that's my personality. I'm fairly strict and fairly conservative.
There's scientists don't mix work with friends or relatives, and I hold that to be very true. There is a responsibility that we have as JPs to act what is in accordance with the law. And your friend or family, yes, there's procedures and policies to follow, and just because you're a friend or family doesn't mean that you're going to bend the rules and risk losing your job and the integrity of that office.
The first thing I do is raise your right hand, and you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. That's what I do with them when they come before me, even if it's a friend. And then what I do, they enter their plea. And they have a right to enter their plea, either guilty, not guilty, or no contending. And whatever they decide from there, that's what I do within the law. I tell them what their fine is and what they have to pay. And people come and say, I don't have any money, I'm not working, and they request community service. Within the law, I can give community service. And I will do that. And my door is always open, and my girls are always listening to what I'm doing. I never do anything behind closed doors. I do not believe in that. Even in my small claims, those are heard, all my cases are heard in the courtroom. And everyone knows that. Even sometimes I tell one of my secretaries or my clerk, be there with me. I don't want any problems. I don't want anybody saying that they were talking to me about any tickets or whatever.
The final question was submitted from the audience, and it is a twofold question. The first one requires a one-word answer, and the second one, you'll have your 45 seconds to respond. The first one is, what is your platform? In one word. What is your platform in one word? The second question, do you feel anything you are involved with is a conflict of interest for the county?
One word, the people. People. Community, okay? And as far as, helping the people, helping the community, I don't think there's any conflict. I have a passion for helping people, and I think I will do whatever I can for our community.
Justice. With regard to the second question, no, I don't think that there's any conflict. I do a lot of community service. I'm involved in different boards and organizations, but everything that I do is actually a benefit to the county, to the city, and no, there would be no conflict in anything that I do, and serving in a capacity as a justice of the peace for Cameron County.
One word would be fairness, and another would be no type of conflict of interest if I become your justice of the peace. Thank you.
One word, re-elect Judge Innes of the side and
equality. I don't have any conflict of interest, and if one arose, I would disclose it, and I'd have to make a decision based on whether the conflict was to give it up or not. And I hope that your staff works this hard for me if I get the position. They sound great.
In the same order on the direction, can you give everybody a 1 minute closing statement, please?
I know my time's running, so thank you. Brownsville is a very interesting place. I have enjoyed living here. I've hated living here. It's a place I'm staying, like it or not. And I fight for people every day. I fight for justice, I fight for equality, and I fight for the right thing. I try and change laws where the laws are not balanced. And I've devoted my life to it and will continue to do so in the position of justice. Thank you.
Thank you all for being here with us tonight. And what I want to say is, I'm from the people and for the people. And I do want to continue to be your JP, not for one term, but another term until the Lord take me somewhere else. But even that, I want to be here. I just want to say a couple of things that I'm a widow, in case you all don't know. My husband died about 4 years ago. And he's with the county also. And I learned so much in caring for people of Brownsville, because a lot of people come to my office with different problems. I'm like the doctors, believe it or not, if you go to my office, people are sitting there. And sometimes I say, my goodness, where's everybody coming from? Pues necesitas al azar, a un consejo. And I speak Spanish, and I love to speak my Spanish language porque soy latina y me gusta hablar en español. Es bonito poner atención a la gente cuando vengan y que tengan las puertas abiertas.
I want to thank each and every one of you for taking time from your busy schedules to be here today and giving us an opportunity to hear our point of views as why we should be JPs. I myself have experience working for a JP, and I look forward to being your justice of the peace. Thank you.
Like I mentioned earlier, I love Brownsville. I'm very passionate about my career as an attorney and a mediator. I'm also very passionate about my community. I'm very excited to be and proud to be running as a Democrat in this community. That means a lot to me, and it says a lot about my character and how I want to give back to this community. I want to take what I have, what I'm passionate about, and make it work to the benefit of the county. I look forward to working for you, with other fellow JPs, other county officials, and I really would appreciate your consideration of my candidacy in this race. Thank you.
Well, again, thank you, okay? And I do have the qualifications to be your JP. I have the passion and I have the desire. But most importantly, I have that inside of me that I just want to be fair and just to our community. I am involved with the community. I want to give back to the community. I am a